Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about a pop color woman who actually came out to say that it looks like the N word has a different weight when it comes to some places in Europe. Why? Because she was like, in US, it's something you dare not try to say. But I think she's in France or something. And everybody, even her colleagues and all that, are always using the N word. And why she said that, a lot of people actually came to the, comment section, especially the racist Europeans, came to the comment section to defend themselves, saying that the word does not evolve only around Black people, the word does not evolve only around Americans and all that, that they have they have every right to use that word and all that. And I am saying, I really hope you all come to America and say, you all are so proud to be saying it. Come to America, come to New York. Come to New York and scream it, or go to the hood and scream it. I want to test something. Let's run something. Let's see how it turns out. Let's see if you are going to go back in peace or in pieces. Because it looks like some of you all sit back in your houses or in your comfort country and all that. You think it's okay to use some racial slurs on people. And where is it that Black people are even safe? Let's get into this video.
Can we talk about the N-word for a second? Which N-word? I'm American. There's only one N-word. And something that I've noticed in the last 8 years living in France is that the N-word is treated very differently in France than it is in the US. This makes sense given the US's history with slavery and that word. Whereas for French people, exposure to that word primarily comes through popular movies and music. And at the end of the day, even though the word is the same thing, it doesn't seem to carry the same weight here. And so people just say it. And when I mean people, I mean like my coworkers used to say this like it was not a problem, and I was like, hi, please don't ever say that around me. Like, that's not okay. Anyway, when a song is unedited and it's playing in a public place, I find that kind of amusing as an American because that's not something you ever see back home. Songs are always radio edits when they're in public places. But I just saw a post from the Paris 2024 account making a video with a song using that word not once but 3 times on their official account. And I totally get that French people seeing this video are not gonna bat an eye. But as an American seeing that video, I had to triple check that this was on the official Paris Olympics account. Because I feel like somebody should tell them that for a global audience, that word is not something that should be in promotional materials of any kind. So, I don't know, maybe private that post, maybe take it down completely forever and find a different song to put with that. Just find it very, very weird, Paris 2024. And if you ever need a cross-cultural consultant to help you out with some social posts, drop me a message. I can say yes, this is appropriate, or no, this is not. But that one is a pretty easy hard pass 100% of the time. Don't use that word in your official videos. It's not a good look. Can we talk about the N-word for a second? Which N-word? I'm American. There's only one N-word. And
Hillary! I just woke up, as you can see. Hillary, girl, you in danger, girl. Don't ever try to talk to French people about race from an American point of view. They will gaslight the fuck out of you. Oh, we are all French. Don't bring that shit here. We are all French. Blue, white, red, beurre, blanc, et black. I don't know. What's the other one? But at the same time, they know damn well, but they look at race, that they sectionize people between their race, their religion. And so when you come to it with an American point of view and you try to be like, oh, that's really interesting, that's weird, we don't do that, it's like, take that shit back to P0ple. Don't bring that American shit. Yet they open 5 restaurants in Paris. Donut, American pizza, California kitchen. Don't bring that American shit. They love American shit, but then they don't really actually want to learn from an American point of view, which is fine, keep it, but don't get gaslit, girl. Don't get gaslit.
I'm American. There's only one N-word. And something that I've noticed in the last 8 years living in France.
Okay, so I lived in France for 5 years and have never heard white people say the N-word so much. Also saw 3 or 4 cases of blackface. The weirdest instance for me was when one of the first years I was there, I was an English teaching assistant, and I had a group of students and we were doing a lesson on the civil rights movement. So I started off by being like, hey, what do you guys know about this from the US? do you know anything? And one kid raises his hand and is like, yeah, it's when N-words wanted more rights. So great way to start that lesson off. But after that, I was like, A, we're not saying that word is like not allowed in my classroom. And B, if at a classroom full of white students, like if you guys are saying this word, can't stop you outside of this classroom, but this is what it means. This is what it means about you and your beliefs. So after that, for the rest of the school year, whenever the boys from that group saw me in the hallway, it was a chorus of people just shouting the N-word.
Can we talk about the N-word for a second? Which N-word? I'm American. There's only one N-word.
So if you haven't seen that video, it's talking about how French people are really desensitized to the word and use it colloquially because it's in the music they listen to and they don't have the history with it. But I want to add some nuance and get a conversation going with how do you have a word that is in some forms of media, and some people can say it and some not. How do we continue that? Context, I was a homeschooler. I didn't listen to I listened to a lot of pop music and Christian music, but it wasn't until I was 16 and I went to a talk at my school, my college campus, that was about the problem with the N-word on campus for class credit, where I discovered what the N-word was. Honestly, I'd heard it, I'd read it in books, and those books where they have the little caption that says, this is not a word that we normally use, and this book talks about things in a way that we wouldn't, but we left it in for historical context. But I didn't know what they were talking about. And I had to ask somebody after the talk what word they were talking about, so I made sure I didn't use it. But I think that this issue that she's talking about with French people using it is the same issue that I had if it's only ever used by horrible people in bad contexts, or by black people, by people who use it colloquially, like women use bitch. How do children or people who aren't in those nations learn that it's not a word they're supposed to use? Learn the nuance and the context of it if, as we're working towards a society where people wouldn't use it badly, it's only ever used in a friendly kind of way. But people with my skin tone, and I understand it, I'm not saying I should get to use it, but I shouldn't be using it. How should 16-year-old me have known? How should French people know? How should people who don't hear the horrible context and don't need to be educated on it, hey, the dogs are barking. If they don't need to be educated on it young, because horrible people around them aren't using it, how do you teach people that? How are we supposed to learn this? It's an interesting conversation, because when you use words with this dichotomy of it's a slur if you say it, and it's friendly if I say it, how do people who aren't hearing it as the slur, which hopefully happens more and more, how do people who aren't hearing it as a slur know they can't say it? It's just interesting. I'd love to hear anyone's thoughts on this.
Can we talk about the N-word for a second? Which N-word? I'm American. There's only one N-word.
So she goes on to talk about how the French just use the N-word very, very liberally. And I'm going to tell a story to the embarrassment of a French friend of mine, but I love you, buddy. Anyhow, I went to college, a college that had a sister school in France, a school in Louisiana, right? And so every year we would have a number of French exchange students. I lived in the dorms, French quarter, because I was minoring in French or something like that. And there's this one girl who came in one year, and she's a really great person, right? And we were sitting there. It's literally the first week of her being there. She was big into hip hop. Hip hop was a big part of the way that she started learning English. It was me, 2 other black students, and her, and Lord Pretty Flacco Jody from A$AP Rocky was on, and I was like, oh fuck, I love this song. And we were in there, and she hit every N-word, and then she got up and went to her dorm room, and me and the other 2 students, we were like, yo, someone has to tell her. And we were sitting there, we were like, yo, like, I don't think that she knows. Like, we were sitting there, and I was like, well, you her roommate, you gotta tell her. Like, and she was like, no, I don't have to tell her, y'all tell her, you're the one who blah, 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 blah. I think I ended up being the one that was like, yo, like, hey, I know it's probably different in France. You can't say that shit here. She was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She freaked out. But yeah, apparently in France, they just, I mean, from what I know about France, it's a little racist. From what I can understand, if you're a Black American in France, you're gonna be okay. Because they have like this whole fantasy about like how they're better than the US and like how the Black artists always come over there. But from what I know, if you're like African, if you're Muslim, they don't really, like, I feel like specifically they don't have slurs for Black people directly, but they do have slurs for Black Muslims and Muslims. They have like a bunch of different slurs for communities of Muslim people and slurs for Arab people as well. I think that's where like France racism is centrally located. But I guess Black Americans are an exception for some reason.
About the N-word for a second. Which N-word? I'm American. There's only one N-word. And
unsurprisingly, you'll find in that comment section Europeans just offended that you told them that they were being offensive. Like, we can say every slur if we so wish. Like, you guys are mad weird. You only know the slur through American media, supposedly, right? And I know American media tells you that it's a slur that is very offensive, that certainly people who look like this should not be saying. But all you heard was, new slur, better add it to my vocabulary. And I gotta ask, Black Europeans, what are you doing? Step on their necks and teach them white guilt and shame. Alright, they cannot be in the motherland of slavery and colonization getting away with this. What is society coming to? You gotta teach them to be better. Press upon them the white guilt and shame. Please, for the rest of us, because apparently every chance they learn a slur, they're just like, this needs to be a part of my everyday vocabulary. Like, that's not mad and weird. You don't learn a slur from another culture and you're just like, I need to slay that slur every day. I thought French people liked rioting and burning shit down in the streets. Okay, you need to start doing that to get them to stop. Like, get them to stop it. What are you, teach them better manners.
But the N-word is treated very differently in France than it is in the US.
The funniest thing about this is that when I looked it up, French people have laws against the discrimination, the hate speech of people of any ethnicity, race, nation. I mean, they obviously ignore it, especially when it's for Black people, but you know, that's a standard. People are racist to Black people everywhere, in Europe and in America. And from my personal experience especially. It's the French Olympics made in France, in a French city, with a French team. Say, Brownie? For a global audience, the US is not the damn globe. I mean, it's where you're getting all the culture you're taking from. Then don't use any American culture in your media from now on. That means the music that she was complaining about, that's using the N-word, that you guys are parroting because you're like, American music is so cool. If you guys want to go ahead and stop doing that way we could stop criticizing you for using our culture and then getting mad when you're like, we don't understand the context, we are in France, we do not have internet access except for Twitter and TikTok and only to see the funny, how you say, meme. So in the field that I work in, there is this concept called nothing about me without me. And the idea is that if you are talking about somebody or a group of people, they are always included in the conversation. In this particular context, it would be Americans, and specifically Black Americans. And also, you know, there could be a little intersectionality. Maybe we can get some Black Parisians, Black French people voices, because in that comment section, all the people saying that she's dumb and wrong and it is just for French culture, oui. Like, no, none of them were Black. I noticed, I clicked on so many profiles, none of them were Black. So the idea that these white French people are saying, no, we can't say the N-word, it does not mean the same thing here. It's like, yeah. Why do you need to say it? Come to America, French people. I want to hear you say it in my face.
Say it. And when I mean people, I mean like my coworkers used to say this like it was not a problem. And
There are really people in our comment section trying to justify this, saying it's sharing culture. That is not the fucking case. There are some black people that don't use that word at all. There are some black people that don't allow other black people to call them that word. And what baffles me more is the fact that French people be on this app correcting everyone on how to say shit like croissant. Be so fucking for real. The moment someone tells you stop using the N-word and you're just like, no, it's a part of my vocabulary. Bitch, no, it's not. How is an American term from slavery a part of your French vocabulary? Because you heard it in Niggas in Paris? Be so fucking for real. Yeah, don't come to New York saying that word to black people unless you can fight. Respectfully.
talk about the N-word for a second. Which N-word? I'm American. There's only one N-word. And some
Yeah, the comment section in this video have taught me all you need to know about an overwhelming majority of Europeans. Now, I know people get upset whenever someone makes generalizations about Europe and whatever, but unfortunately, it's that, like, they're probably kind of racist. Ooh, shocker. People hate the racist word. But it's true. If you can't find it in your heart of heart to understand why non-black people are using the N-word as bad, then you're a racist. The phone call coming from inside the house. And I don't want this BS cultural relevancy. Well, like, culturally, no. No, because it doesn't matter where you go on the globe, the N-word means the same thing. It does. It does. There's no... You can't apply cultural relevancy to the N-word because it just means what it means no matter where you go. And so, yeah, an American living in Paris hearing people say the N-word is crazy. And her seeing the official Olympics page use a song that has the N-word in it is crazy. Because as she so aptly pointed out, in America, stuff like that is censored. So if you want to talk about cultural relevancy, apply it to her and think about her. Right? But even beyond that, in your heart of hearts, you know that that's racist. And you know that there are probably people in your own country who you oppress or are prejudiced against because of their cultural identity or their race. Like, I'm gonna call a spade, and I don't want pissy Europeans in my comment section talking about, oh, you can't generalize. Well, if you can get up in a comment section about an American living in Paris talking about how racism is an issue and act like it's not an issue, then I get to generalize. You're racist.
Can we talk about the N-word for a second? Which N-word? I'm American. There's only one N-word. And
she goes on to talk about how the N-word in France is used very loosely because people don't really know the weight of the word. And for the Paris 2024 official account on TikTok, they used a song with the N-word in it repeated amount of times. Versus in, like, the United States, it would have been very censored. The whole funny thing about that video is that the comments, just awful. It's just people not taking her seriously, you know, them saying, hey, American here. We say it in America too. And the only reason I find it funny is because it's like another big F you to black people. Just another big middle finger in our face. It's just like a cultural shock to her. Because, like, when I was listening to her say it, I was like, this makes sense in my eyes. Like, not the fact that these people are actually, like, using the word and not caring about the history of it. It's just, it makes sense. It's on brand for the world. I'm gonna say this to the death of me. Black people don't belong anywhere. Ever. There will never be a place and never be a corner where we are not hated and shamed. Bye.
only one N-word. And
I'd like to speak to this as someone who just came from the Philippines, where I heard this word used so casually so often, and I actually asked one person about it, and they were like, don't worry, we're just using it in the friendly way. The friendly way? Can you enlighten me on the way?
So this is all I got from this video, and let me start by saying that they know what they are saying. They know it is wrong, and I see a lot of them in the comment section saying the word, I mean, it's a global, sorry, the word is too large and it does not evolve around America and all that. They were like, America is delusional and the world evolves around, and that they ask Paris Olympic to president. Like, how do people wake up to, like, you know, I mean, come in the comment section and defend something that is not defendable. And you all already know, like, you know, what I mean, I know France because I have seen people that traveled there, black people, and Italy, and some places in Europe are not even like they are not friendly for black people. So hearing this from her, I don't think it's something that I am shocked, because I have heard so many stories about Europe and black people's experiences there. So coming out to say that it has the same weight, whether it is in France or it is in US. But the fact that they chose to be racist, that is what they chose to be. And like, I want to ask this, where is it even safe for black people? Because you see a lot of things going on, a lot of things happening, and you see some things people do and all that. It is not okay to use the N-word. Like one of the men said, like, even black people do not even want to use that because it's a racial slur. Don't even use it among themselves, let alone other people. This is something a group of people, they have already said that we do not want you people to address us with this. Why is it hard for them to stop saying it? Because, I mean, they always say, why is it that you all can use it, but we cannot use it? Bro or sis, you cannot use it. The fact that I don't know, but like, you know, like the guy said, let them come to New York. Yeah, come to New York and say it. Come to New York and say it. I mean, you want to use the N-word anytime you want and all that. Make sure you come to New York or come to come to the hood and say it. Let's see if you are going to survive it. And then if you survive it, then you go back and tell the stories to other people, you know, because it looks like a lot of people really need to, like, you know, learn their lesson. I mean, like, it's more like F around and find out. So some of them should just come to where it is predominantly black places and neighborhood that you dare not use that word, and come and say it. Because I see a lot of them in the comment section defending it. Like it is nothing, like it is just only black American making all this up, or it's just only, it has this, like, you know, it's kind of a very big offense in United States and other places. It is not the same offense that it has in France, US, and every other places. Like, there is no exemption, you know. And I don't know, but like, you know, the hatred is like really very glaring and crystal. And why are you all even hating black people? Because, like, you know, where is always safe for black people? It looks like nowhere. I mean, not even a damn place that is safe for black people. But then I hope some people really get what they are looking for, because I am tired of coming here to talk about how we need to keep seeing like people that they use as example, like the scapegoats, the ones that said it because they thought nothing was ever going to happen and ended up being beaten. That is the kind of videos that I want to see around. Yeah, like the woman that was said it. She was dating a black man, and she said it to a black woman, a white palm-colored woman dating a black man, and she said it to a black woman I think in a store, and she ended up so bad. I mean, she was boom, 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 so bad. That is the kind of pictures I want to be bringing here, not people coming here to tell me that it looks like the way it has in US is not the way. They know what they are doing. Check some of them. You see all this racist thing we'll talk about, it starts in the home. You know, you see some of them, as tiny as they are, you see them using some racial slurs. I have some of them students and all, like, you see them using some slurs, and you ask yourself, is this baby not so young to know something like this? How did they learn it? How did they learn something like that? So that is all I got to say. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.